All right, a third way in which abstract theory about human nature has important implications for educational practice concerns a curricular element. And that is the place of physical education in the curriculum. Right? Whether phys ed should be in the curriculum at all is sometimes controversial. If it is in the curriculum, is it kind of the first thing to be cut if budgets are cut? Or do we assign physical education great importance? In many cases, that is an issue that can be driven by background assumptions about human nature. So let me give you an example. Again, suppose we approach this in a top-down fashion. Suppose I am a dualist, I am then more likely to say, well, physical education is focused on the body, so that's down here, but we do not, as dualists, assign very much weight to the body at all, and so in very strongly dualist curricula, our education should be focused on the important thing, the essentially human thing, and that is the psychological side of our nature, and so we should have a curriculum that focuses significantly or exclusively on the psychological and doesn't include physical education at all. An example, a couple of years ago, I was at a luncheon here at Rockford College, and it involved some alumni. I was sitting with a couple of women who had graduated from Rockford College in the 1940s, and one of the women told me about her very first job that she got after graduating from Rockford College, and that was as a teacher, and she had been hired at a school to be the physical education teacher at the school. And what was remarkable from her perspective was that she was the very first physical education teacher at this school, and the reason she was brought in to be the physical education teacher was that she was not of the religious persuasion of the school. The school had been a very traditional religious school, a convent school, and all of the teachers were nuns. And for as long as that school had been in existence, the judgment had been made that physical education is not properly part of the curriculum. Physical education is about the body, but proper education is about the soul, it's about the spirit, it's about the mind, and so physical education was not on the curriculum until during the experience of World War II. Apparently the school, the convent school, decided to modernize to some extent, and that it was appropriate to have physical education be part of the curriculum. But all the teachers were nuns, and it was felt to be inappropriate and inconsistent with their calling as nuns to have the nuns teach physical education. The nuns are supposed to be as distant as possible from physical things, and so that is why they felt while they had to teach physical education, they had to hire someone whom they regarded as an outsider to come in and teach the physical education. All right, so that's one more extreme example of dualism applied in a more extreme curricular situation where the judgment would be that physical education is not to be included in the curriculum at all, or if it is, it's as an afterthought and to be relegated to a position of lesser importance on the curriculum. Okay, now by contrast, suppose we approach the issue of physical education from the perspective of reductive materialism. Well, as a theoretical point, we're going to say the human being is a physical system. And so the health of the physical system is not just an issue in education, it is the issue in education. And so all of education really is physical education, and so physical education is the number one curricular element. And so everything should be physical education, right, in one form or another. But the argument then is going to be that if we put physical education at the foundation of our curriculum and we attend to the health of the body, we develop strong bodies, we develop flexible bodies, we develop bodies that have good nutrition, endurance, and all of the various other attributes of trait. By attending to those things and developing the body in the appropriate kind of way, everything else follows from that in a secondary fashion. So if we have a healthy body, then to the extent that we are interested in healthy psychological states, they will follow as a matter of course by attending first and foremost and primarily to the body. All right, suppose we are integrationists and we ask the same kind of question here. Should we include physical education? The integrationists will say yes, and physical education is going to be important, and the argument is going to be from their perspective that the physical development and the psychological development are of equal importance, and so some physical component should be developed throughout the curriculum. That falls out of the more general point. Anything that's theoretical and abstract should also be taught in terms of its physical embodiment, its practical existential embodiment as well. And then if we turn to physical education as it's more traditionally conceived, having gym periods where students are learning various kinds of physical activities, sports, games, and so on. Partly that's a matter of developing the healthy body, but the idea here will be that all of those physical activities will be integrated with psychological activities. So if we're learning how to develop healthy bodies, folded into that physical education curriculum will be lessons about nutrition, about lifelong health, about properly taking care of your body and having a healthy psychology and a healthy attitude about exercise and enjoying sports, and including all of its psychological elements as well. Or if, for example, we are teaching the students how to play a sport, say the sport is, I don't know, tennis as an example here. We're interested in teaching the students tennis so that they do get their exercise. There's endurance elements there. There are flexibility elements there. We're interested in their learning the endurance issues, the rules of the game, so they know how to hold the racket, move their bodies, where to stand, and so forth. We want them to develop the proficiency of being able to do all of the various kinds of strokes. But at the same time, tennis as a sport is not simply a physical activity. There are lots of psychological issues about, in the case of if you're playing doubles, teamwork, being a good loser, being a good winner, when you're behind, being able to suck it up and persevere and try to come back, not to give up, not to cry and whine, not to blame your racket, right, and so forth. So there are all of the psychological issues. There might even be aesthetic issues about sports that one would fold in, moral issues, as we've mentioned, about teamwork and leadership that would be folded in as well. So your physical education curriculum would not simply be a physicalistic exercise, just send them out on a nice day so they can get some exercise. That is important, but that is going to be integrated tightly with all of the psychological issues as well. So whether then physical education is not in the curriculum at all, or if it is barely on the curriculum, whether physical education dominates the curriculum almost exclusively, or whether physical education is integrated into the curriculum fairly substantially and all of the physical education things are taught tightly along with the psychological issues as well. Those kinds of curricular decisions and pedagogical issues about physical education will be given very different weight, very different emphasis, again, depending on what one's background theory about human nature is.